Good evening. I'm Angelo Barreto. I'm from Kurtori. It's a village in Salset Taluka, South Goa. And I do my cashew activity in my farm at Solien, Kakoda, Kepen Taluka. All this is in Goa. Now to tell you my story of my journey rather with cashew, I will start by telling you how I ventured into this. I finished my graduation and then I wanted to get into a bank. But my dad said, we have ancestral land, why don't you do something there? I went to the then chief engineer who was very helpful. I got a transformer installed. I took permission from a neighbor of mine to whom we had sold the land, installed a 15 HP pump there in his property, and then we took a pipeline up to the middle of the plantation. In the middle of the plantation, we had a sump. Now we had no idea of what we were getting into. So everything was done, with approximation and just with trial and error method. So we built a small house where we are taking this video now, where behind me, rather in front of me there is the storeroom where we store seeds. By the side is the labor room where my laborer stays, the main guy who distills and all. I will be introducing you to him later. Behind me is the tank and behind me is the whole plantation. So with that, this I started. At that point of time, there was only V4 which was very strongly being promoted by the government. So I went to this farm at the government agricultural farm at Kalai, and I bought around 1,000 grafts initially. And we planted those. We developed this first area in two phases. One in 1992 and the other half we developed in 1994. So the total area is around 1,20,000. All the trees in this area or in this plantation get irrigation. Thrice in a season is more than enough for cashew. It's in fact a bonus, because what happens if you give too much of water also, it's not advisable. So basically cashew trees need to undergo a little stress. So the biggest challenge for us at that point of time when we did the second phase was clearing of grass. To our luck, those handheld grass cutters, brush cutters, what they say, they came. And before that, in the year 2000, we had a major fire. And I was really disheartened and disillusioned because unfortunately, I lost around 1,200 grafts which were yielding in that fire. And they never really came up again, because once a cashew tree, even a fire runs under the base of the tree, the stem starts oozing. And somehow that tree, even if it survives, it takes years to recover. So we had this and most of these trees died. But again, at that time I sat down and I cried. And I told my dad, let's sell the land. Then after this was the other plantation. That I ventured, I think, somewhere in 2014. I ventured into the other plantation. At that time, I interacted with Dr. Desai, and I had finished putting again Bengunla 4 there. So Dr. Desai from ICR, I consider him my friend, philosopher and guide, actually a guru to me in cashew. And the good thing about him is, till today, although he is not in the institution or department, I take the liberty to call him at any time, day and night, and he's always available for me. So I approached him and I told him, Doctor, I'm not happy with this V4 variety. Because he said, why don't you try some local varieties? He said, I will give you a selection, he said, and you try it out. Those plants I planted in one particular area. And then to the fifth year, I was really happy when I started getting the first yields of that tree. I was really happy. This variety was known as Bhaskara. Now we make it a point, wherever there's gap filling or wherever the trees die, I always go for this Bhaskara variety in my plantation because it seems to be doing very well. It is good as far as the nut is concerned. Nut is bold, very clean. Apple is a decent size, good juice content. And in all ways it's good. It's also not early bearing. It doesn't bear together like V4 where you get a whole yield and then there's nothing. No, this gets a late yield. It goes on till the end of the season practically. So that also helps us because it gives our laborers work throughout the year. It's spread out and not focused at one time of the year. Not for a few months, not for a month or two or something like that. So like that, I was receptive to any sort of variety that he gave me. And that's how I have got a multitude of varieties of cashew in my farm. We are totally organic, by the way. Around last 10 years, before that we used to like control grass and all chemically. It looked very good. My expenditure dropped like anything. Clearing grass was very easy. For 2 years I did that. 3 years I did that. Then I started gradually paying a price. The incidence of stem borer increased in multitude. Trees, good trees were just getting stem borer and dying. There were big patches of land just barren, and I realized that this was very dangerous. That's the time I came back to the organic space. I said, nothing doing, no spraying, no control of weeds, nothing. So from that time, we are fully organic. Now around 5 years back, we were certified as fully organic. And now we are selling seed also to Goa Bhagyatdar as organic cashew. Goan nuts are the tastiest in the world for only one reason. Goa is the only place where cashew is exploited for both the seed as well as liquor. The excise rules permit only Goa to, and now we have got a GI tag. So Urrak, which is the first distillate, and the Feni, which is the second distillate, is a drink that is brewed and sold only in Goa. Of course, it can be exported to other states, but it can be made, and if at all somebody else manages to distill it also, they cannot use the word cashew urrak or feni, because both these have got GI tags now. Now the pulp of this that remains after the juice comes out, the next morning when it comes, every morsel of juice from that stack is already run out into the juice. That remains like that the whole night. So that dry pulp which is there is put in a pit. It's just put in a pit, thrown in a pit rather, and that pit gets full. That pit is kept for a full year like that, and the next year we use it as manure for coconut trees. It's a very good source of manure, natural organic manure. We have tried putting it for cashew, but it's not very advisable because sometimes you get stem borer developing from that. So coconut, there's no problem. On the contrary, it's very good. So like that, we have learnt a lot of things, made mistakes and learnt a lot. So this is a small insight about my journey into cashew. Thank you very much.